Mrs. Andrews, it is a sad day indeed. Oh, such a good man, all with his great reward.
Oh, dear Mr. Parker. Why, he's here yesterday and gone today. Just think of all of the covered bridges that he built all over the county without one mishap. And then to die of a freak accident in his own home.
I heard it was dreadful. There he was in the cellar, directing the workmen to bring that slab of stone into the basement floor. In a split second, that stone fell with Mr. Parker beneath it. And you know, he was building that house for his wife. Oh, one of the finest houses on Southport Street. Whatever will Mariah do now?
Well, you know, I heard she went to St. Paul's Church and asked for the money back that Mr. Parker gave for the new church building. What do you think of that?
Well, maybe she's just a little short of cash right now. Oh, that fine house must have cost a pretty penny. Why, the fancy brickwork on the chimney out front alone must have cost a fortune. Oh, we'll just have to wait and see how things go. Did you see the hearse? Oh, Mr. Sauer does such a fine job with his match team and fine rig. I will say, though, when I go, I do not, I repeat, I do not want those church bells tolling out my age when they carry me down the street. Oh, I know that's tradition. I just don't think it's necessary to give out that kind of information on such a solemn occasion.
Speaking of tradition, did you see Mrs. Jones? Well, how long has it been since Mr. Jones passed? I don't believe she was dressed in the proper mourning attire.
I think you're quite right. Why, it's been but a few months. She already has her mourning veil back off her face. Really, someone ought to speak to her about that.
Well, you know, with no family to tell her what is proper, maybe we should help her to know what is right. You know, I believe she had on black silk. Well, that cannot be. Everyone knows it must be black bombazine for at least 3 months. The next thing you know, she'll be adding color to her dress.
Well, I must admit, after I lost poor Mr. Boswick, may he rest in peace, it was quite a relief after 6 months to be able to add that touch of purple to my outfit. Oh, I know what they say. When you add purple, you're in the market for a new husband. Well, purple I like, but a new husband? Oh, I don't know about that.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well, you know, a young widow could be saddled with another man's family as well as her own. Best to leave purple for much later. But let's ask Mrs. Jones over for tea. It's the least we can do. And a little talk on mourning etiquette, too.
Ah, ladies, here you are. I knew you wouldn't miss Mr. Parker's funeral. You're such dependable mourners. Every funeral without fail.
Well, we do have our tender moments, especially for Mr. Parker. Oh, Mr. Sauer, you have done so good by your wife. This casket is grand indeed.
Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate your kind words. I do take pride in my craft. I make fine furniture fit for any parlor, as well as custom caskets for your dearly deceased. But I draw the line when it comes to all those newfangled affairs. Did you know they make a casket with a bell that sticks up out of the ground? People are so afraid their loved ones are going to be buried when yet alive. Can you imagine waking up and having the common sense to ring a bell for help? That's nonsense, if you ask me. I put faith in our Dr. Hudson. When he says they're dead, they are dead.
Oh, yes. Dr. Hudson has quite a fine reputation, especially now that he has mended his ways and no longer is lifting bodies after burial for his so-called medical research. Why, it was quite a scandal when he was caught digging up some bodies for his infirmary.
Oh, don't be too harsh. That's the only way scientists could get specimens to study back then. Of course, there is a law against such a thing now. Nobody has to stand guard over the grave. Nope, Mr. Parker will be buried safely and permanently, and might I add, in grand style. I've been burying people in Medina since 1850, and I stand by my work.
There is no doubt about it, Mr. Parker. You are one of the best. For a brand big building on South Court Street, it is a credit to your skill. Oh, and the village. It is one of the loveliest buildings on Town Hill.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. You do attend every funeral, so I do value your judgment, and you do know what's good. Poor Mr. Parker. He had so much work left to do. Did you know that he had the contract to lay the stone at the new Episcopal Church? Now what will they do? Time to put Mr. Parker to rest. God rest his soul.